From our previous tutorial, we collected information from these text boxes and output them into our output area. We also use the form loader to default and prime the text boxes with information for the user. And this will also speed up our development time because we don't have to type into the text boxes all the time. In this tutorial, we're going to look at generating a random number and displaying the results of the random number in the output area or the dice roll results. So let's get underway. By double-clicking roll dice or selecting form 1 VB, we can actually come into our programming area. I'm going to move the form 1 loader to the top of my page. To do that, I'm just going to highlight it, just cut it out and paste it above the private sub and in between the form class. Remember, the public class and the closed class here, the end class, is very important. That's your program, and then every private sub has an end. Now this is our form loader. Also, what I want to do when creating random numbers, we want to run a program called Randomize, bracket, bracket. This runs a function to ensure that we get random numbers. So this ensures we get random numbers. Otherwise, when you start the program, you could get a 5 every time. So this ensures that the random numbers are pre-primed, so when you do create it, it's unique. Now in our roll dice, when we click on the bottom, we want to generate a random number. Now to do that, I'm going to create a little area called processing. I'm going to also put some comments in here, which is our input. The top one are our local variables. And then we have our output area down the bottom here. So now you can start seeing the structure of our program. We have variables declared, we have the input section, then we process it, and then we output the information. So we want to generate a random number. This is going to be done in our processing area. But to generate a random number, we need to store it somewhere. So what I'm going to do is come up the top here and go dim. I roll result. As an integer. So I roll result is going to be equal to, and this is where we need to use some functions and methods. So we're going to use the maths dot ceiling bracket, and then we're going to use the random function, which is rnd bracket bracket, and then we're just going to times at this stage by 6. And in the output area, I'm just going to change iDice to iRolls and just delete the other output string because we know that's working. So all I want to do is display the result of the dice roll. So let's run our program now, and this should generate numbers between 1 and 6. So there is a 6, 4, and a 1. So what I want to do is check that I've got the right range. In other words, I don't end up with 7 or a 0. Now we know the dice size is equal to 6. And when we declared our program, we're actually collecting iDice size from our user. And that's an integer. So rather than using 6, I could actually turn around and say, well, I want the dice size to be iDice size. That way the user could say, I want a dice of 3. Or a dice of 21. So let's go see how this program works. So let's change it and give it a dice size of 3. So I shouldn't see 4, 5, or 6. There's a 3, 1, 2, and there's no 4, 5, or 6. If I put in 21, I should see numbers above 6. I could have a 100 side die, and it'd give me numbers up to 100. Or if I wanted a 101 sided dice, I could do that as well. So by allowing the user to specify the dice size and collecting that and storing it in a variable, we can then use that to determine the size of our dice. In our next tutorial, we'll look at how we can roll the dice, the number of times the user would like us to roll the dice. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. Give it a like, subscribe to my channel, have a look around for other tutorials, and I'll see you in the next tutorial for this sequence.